ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהכל נהיה בדברו. You know it, you've heard me say it, you have seen in my videos. Who is the father of monotheism? It's Abraham. Abraham and Sarah revolutionized this world. And in a certain sense, the three major religions, Judaism, Catholicism, Islam, all derive from his teachings. Maimonides says, just a moment. What do you mean Abraham is the father of monotheism? Actually, Adam, the first man, he spoke to God. He knew there was only one God. What happened? Well, it seems that through the generations between Adam and Abraham, they degenerated. The generations degenerated their ideals. And somehow the idea of idolatry penetrated, and it was very difficult to abandon it. And I'll tell you in a few moments why I think it was difficult to abandon it. Because the philosophy behind idolatry is called paganism. What does this paganism really preach? You know what it preaches? It preaches that you man, you woman, you are the center of the universe. Whatever is good for you, that is good. There are no moral values. There are no virtues. If something gives you pleasure, that's it. Go for it. The important thing is visual pleasure, auditive pleasure, carnal pleasure, sexual pleasure, whatever delights you, that is good. Is that what you should do in this world? Well, you know, there are many consequences to that. For instance, I think that the high incidence of divorce that we have nowadays is maybe a direct consequence of this thinking. I am the most important person in this world. Whatever gives me pleasure, that is what is the right thing to do. How it affects others, it bothers me, but that is in a second order. The most important person in this world is I myself. I think statistics tell us that some 50% of marriages end in divorce. You know, a tremendous figure. You know, when you think of statistics, that's one thing. But have you met, or are you a member of a divorced couple? Have you seen a house after a divorce? You know what the consequences are? Have you seen children, little children, that suddenly know that the brother, the father, the mother, the second husband, wife, have you seen what the consequences are on teenagers when a home is broken up? It is easier said than done, but the consequences are really terrible. This is because the center of our universe is I myself. I look at myself in the mirror every day and I say, what is good for me? I have no responsibility toward others. I do have, but that's in a second plane. The first and most important thing is I myself. And this is maybe what we're preaching today to the new generations, and this is how we are living our lives today. There's a second fact in paganism, which is the following. You know, any ideal suddenly becomes the center. It can be, for instance, an economic ideal. Welfare, my welfare, economic welfare of society, that is the most important thing. Equality is the most important thing, you know, and there are societies that do that and eventually end up in tyrannies. You have a small group that take advantage of that ideal, and with that, they convert into slaves everybody else in that society. Take a look at what's happening in North Korea, what happened to the Soviet Union for many decades, Cuba, take a look at Venezuela, what's going on. It's a small group that actually controls society under a very noble ideal. That is the most important thing. And under the guise of that ideal, they subjugate everybody else. Well, I think that the difference between monotheism and paganism isn't just the idea that there is harmony in this world, because when you are a monotheist, you really believe that all the forces in this world somehow respond to one source. In other words, it isn't one thing in the United States and another rule in another country. There are no geographic differences. There is one law that governs the entire universe. And that is what we are trying to somehow understand through science because we believe that there is unity, harmony in this world. But when you believe there are different forces in this world that rule it, obviously chaos is what endures. So we have to think through that. What Abraham taught us isn't just a belief in one God. It also means that there should be order, understanding, that we should have priorities in this world, that there is such a thing as a moral code in this world that has to govern all our actions.